Welcome,
Rigster,
Big MC and the Baker Boy himself.
What is it that we are meant to actually do?
The right thing is not always the easy thing.
There is a starting over. There is a forgiveness you can receive.
You came up with a certain point here.
It's a whole nother topic.
I knew that I believed in God. I didn't know what God to believe in.
Welcome to the world gone mad.
You're not just... I'm just going to jump right in because there's no real good way for me to kind of bring this around. Here's what I found. Okay, this one time I was, and this is the voice of a sexting. I'll leave it at that.
What now?
This one time I was browsing through my friend's cell phone pictures when I came across photos of himself taken in front of a bathroom mirror. That's like warning number 1, isn't it?
Yeah, just a little
Wearing
bit.
only his underwear and a drunken smile. Warning number 2.
A drunken smile.
Yeah,
Wow.
drunken smile. Yeah. If only I knew that he was a child pornographer. And I guess I was too, because I looked at it. Who could have saved my soul? So you see right there, she's kind of being sarcastic on this. Okay, don't know if you got that. And then it goes right into District Attorney George Simonek Jr. That's who. He found out that a bunch of local... Okay, now think about this for a second. He found out that a bunch of local students... He's not really saying... I mean, the person who's writing this, they're not really saying... he found out or discovered that 13 local high school students were sexting. They're already making fun of this guy.
Yeah.
He found out that a bunch of local high school students were taking semi-nude photos of themselves on their cell phones and sending them to each other. Now he's making them either take an education program, quote-unquote, education program, and then in parentheses about how not to get involved in child porn. They have a question mark there. Is that just
Yeah.
Can we just say what it is? We have to put question marks about how not to get involved in child porn? What?
Yeah.
Like we need to take an education program about that? Well, obviously I think that we do.
Yeah.
Because there's too many teenagers out there that think this is completely harmless. And A, they don't realize that it's now illegal. And B, they don't realize the harm that they're doing. People do stumble across other people's cell phones every once and again, being that they treat the cell phones like crap since they get the phones for free. Then they start taking pictures of whatever, and before you know it, they're taking pictures of themselves and send them to their boyfriends or their girlfriends.
So as people are sending these pictures back and forth, they're thinking the only person receiving them is the person they're sending it to. When in reality, it could be all over the internet.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
That's it. So they're going on here about how not to get involved in child porn or get charged with pornography. I know, rock in a hard place. This is the writer that's saying this. So he's saying you either take the program or you get charged with pornography. The plot recently thickened when, God save us, the ACLU, representing a small group.
No way, the
ACLU. Right in there. ACLU to the rescue.
Wow.
Oh, boy.
So the ACLU gets involved, representing a small group of alarmed parents. Oh, no, what is our son and child doing? Here's what comes about from this. They countersued Mr. Shamanamanamanamana. They believe that he's making mountains out of molehills, and that sexting term that the Wall Street Journal naively seems to believe is coined isn't a big deal, especially because some of the teens hadn't even sent the photos to anyone else. Doggone it!
Let's think about that.
What's the deal? My son and daughter, they're just taking photos. They haven't even sent them to anybody.
Right. They're just taking
What's
them.
this about? This.
Right.
But I'm a little appalled that the parents are saying he's just making mountains out of molehills. Just a little sexting, that's all.
Right.
All right, so what would be preventing them from actually seeing the fact that it can snowball and they could step back and say, wait a minute, this can lead down the road to a bad thing. Isn't that what like traffic cops are for? They're trying to postpone a humongous mess by people speeding and going 90 and 100. Not that I ever would.
Oh, no.
I stay strictly at like 64.
Well, there you go.
or something. So
70 in the 70s.
and then when the cop pulls you over, not that I've ever been pulled over recently.
No,
When
recently,
if
that's the
recently,
key word.
I
Recently.
love
So,
the truth.
yes.
Thanks for the truth.
So
Appreciate
if
that.
they were to pull you over and they say, "Here's what you were doing, sir. Do you realize the speed limit is 65?" Well, they're denying the truth. They're denying the truth. No, I did not realize that the speed limit in the state of Indiana was 60. Well, now it's 70 miles an hour. Well, do you realize you were going 110? I was.
You mean I'm not on the
Really?
Autobahn?
I had a problem with
German.
my thing with in the speed, the speedometer.
Yeah.
It's just going
That
crazy.
little needle thing. Moves
Thank you
around.
for letting me know. Let me have my license back, and I'll just be. No. This is where the officer could offer you grace and say, okay, you have two options. One, get your stupid ticker fixed. Start driving below the speed limit. Or two, here's a fine for $280. Not that I've ever received.
No, never.
He
Fine.
seems to know the figure
So,
real accurately there.
I'm just randomly throwing it out.
$280.
So $280 fine, and I'm going to take your license, and I'll give you a ride back to my place in the back of my cop car. Isn't that grace to say, okay, you could take care of this, or
It's your call.
I mean, you go to jail or this.
What? How can we? Where are the kids getting the idea this is okay? I think that's what I heard you say, and it's
Right.
because they're seeing this stuff all over the place anyway. They're thinking, well, I see pictures of nude and semi-nude people on TV shows, movies, books, magazines. It must be okay, so I'm just sending a picture on my phone.
And you know why this stuff is happening, and it's like it's no big deal? There's no consequences.
There are no consequences.
There are no consequences, not only in that, but in all kinds of things. It's like, it doesn't really matter. There's no consequences. Nothing's going to happen to me. So, yeah, sure, why don't I try that?
Last month, the American Civil Liberties Union and a group of parents sued Mr. Semenuk in federal court in Scranton, PA, alleging he violated the freedom of expression rights of 3 teenage girls.
Wait, freedom of expression. Now, so that's freedom of expression to send pictures of yourself over the internet. like
Apparently.
that. Okay.
Apparently.
Oh, not just
this
pictures
was,
of yourself, but
Yeah.
semi-nude, nude, whatever, correct?
well, isn't this the whole lawsuit that Larry Flint went through from the Hustler magazine or Penthouse or whatever it was?
Well, that's the whole deal with pornography in general.
The
is that
freedom
it's
of
freedom of expression.
Yeah.
Right. Which is why I choose to express myself with my clothes on.
That's right.
Because
I think it's a wonderful thing
people
to do.
would pay me to keep the
Well,
clothes
I was
on.
going to say, you do the world a favor when you do that. But
Thanks.
Anyway.
But anyway, moving right along. go
Okay.
ahead. You talk to anyone that's been labeled as a sex predator or whatever, and you will find out from them, I'm sure, going like, man, if I could have another chance that I don't have to have this label follow me everywhere I go, they would hands down, they would say, no, it's not great having that kind of a label when people look at me.
They're upset that the scarlet letter will be on them the rest of their life, not about the fact they're doing it.
They got caught.
They got
Right.
caught is why they're upset.
They got caught, and they're saying, okay, he's going to be a scarlet letter.
Yeah,
I don't want
something.
that on my kid the rest of my life.
That's
the
right.
rest of his life.
God says, you have wearied the Lord with your words. Wearied him, you ask in fake surprise. How have we wearied him? By saying that evil is good, that it pleases the Lord, or by saying that God won't punish us, he doesn't care. He says, listen, I will send my messenger before me to prepare the way, and then the one you're looking for will come suddenly to his temple. But what I'm saying here is God is just saying, we're getting to this point of going like, maybe there isn't a God, and we can just do what's right in our own eyes. And that was in Judges. And when that happened, God stepped in a very big way and said, enough's enough.
You've heard that it was said, do not commit adultery. That is any kind of a sexual act outside of marriage. Okay? He says that. But then he goes on to say, but I tell you that anyone who looks at a woman lustfully has already committed adultery with her. In other words, as you're sending these pictures out, and people look at these pictures, and they see you, and they're thinking lustful thoughts, think about, whoa, I would like to do that, okay? You have already committed adultery according to the Word of God. And as I shared with students last week, the Word of God does not change. Even though society says, hey, it's okay, you can do with whomever, whatever, wherever, whenever, God says, no, you do it in marriage, period.